Howdy. Welcome back to Dion Talk. Today I am with two of my friends who are, in my opinion, much smarter than me. One of them is better looking than me. I'll let you guys figure out who that is. I'm going to ask them for a favor. I have Michael Zuber from One Rental at a Time and Matt, the Lumberjack landlord here. Sometimes we talk about things in real estate that we just kind of gloss over, like everybody understands them. And sometimes it's a concept that is fairly simple once you understand it. Mike, what I'd like to do is go down the tier of education. And you have that master's in econ. Matt, you have all the roads, what is it, the school of hard knocks of getting to 70-ish units. And then we'll go down to the newbie. So Matt will explain what Mike says, and then I will translate it in layman speak.
All right.
What is the affordability index, and how do you apply it to real estate?
I love talking about this. I get asked about it a lot. So the affordability index is something that, in full disclosure, was introduced to me by another investor his name is Bruce Norris. He's from Norris Invest. I've given full credit for this because it saved my bacon. The affordability index is what told me to sell in 2006, and I did a 1031 exchange. So what is it? The affordability index basically tells you, can the average person afford the average home? So it's basically a collection of three metrics for a city, a location. So I happen to invest in Fresno, California. So it takes into account the average home price, I should say median home price in Fresno, California, which I think today it's like 380 grand. Then it takes into account the median income in Fresno, California, which I think is $68,000 today for a family of four. And then the most important one is payment, right? It assumes 20% down, 30-year fixed rate mortgage. And basically that's the nut. And then it says, well, okay, how many of these average people could afford the average home at this payment? And what you'll see is today, right, 2021, last recording, Fresno is at 42. What does 42 mean? Because 42 in context means nothing. But the affordability index is a measure that's been calculated in Fresno, California, going back decades. And because it's been going back decades, you can see historical trends. So for example, you go back to the affordability index in 2006, when I decided to sell, it was 20. So for California Association of Realtors, it goes from 1 to 100. Other states go to 300, but this is how I use it. Then you go back and look at Fresno during the 80s. It goes up and then it comes down. And again, what you quickly find is the affordability index tells you when prices are being stretched. Because what you typically do is you start to have very creative answers to get the next yes answer. Because when only 1/5 of the population can afford the house, it's a lot of no answers. So prices are stretched. So the affordability index for me, when it goes lower, 42, fine. 30, fine. Starting to get below 30, getting to 25, yellow flag, 20, red flag, 2006 levels, I will sell. So that I use the affordability index as a green, yellow, red stoplight. But I also can use it because I've used it long enough. I could see how much price could go up before affordability goes down. It does assume payments stay current, right? Or interest rates stay current. But yeah, it's a way that you can it's a way for me to know when it's time to get in or get out of and again, it's single family homes only, not duplexes, not quads, not apartments, very, very single family oriented statistic. So that's what I think I'll stop with. I'm happy to answer questions if I miss something, but for me, it's when do I buy? When do I sell? When is it safe? When is it not safe? That's how I use it.
Okay. And so Matt, before you tell me how you use it, in your own words, tell me how you translate what Mike just said.
So I translate it as the more affordable the area, the more people can afford it, the more opportunity that you have. The lower the affordability index, the fewer people can afford it and the less opportunity that you have. So if you're acquiring at, as he was saying, at a 20 in Fresno, the problem that you have is that's literally that metrics is telling you only 20% of people make more than the median income to afford the median house. That means that things are getting expensive Because would you rather have 20 out of 100 people to sell your house to, or 40 out of 100 people to sell your house to? The answer is 40 people to sell your house to. But if only 20 people can afford it, that's what your affordability index is at 20.
Mhm.
And so for us, my affordability index is 101, but we scale from 0 to 200. And the reason that we do is because we believe that it can go negative. And so right now, only 1% of people make more than the median income compared to the median house price. Only 1% of median income can afford a median house where I live.
And so with a 1%, how does that affect how you invest?
I sold all my single families. Here you go.
Okay.
Yep.
So-
Sold them all.
So when the
Because-
affordability index gets low,
Yes.
it's time to get out of that asset class.
Yes,
And when it's high, it's time to get into that asset class.
exactly.
Okay, so for someone like me whose goal is to buy and hold forever and hopefully never sell,
Mhm.
it's literally, I'm not trying to buy as many units as possible. There's a really cool concept with investing where people want to acquire more and they want to acquire more, and at some point you reach financial freedom and you want to start being more
Mhm.
instead of acquiring more.
Sure.
And to me, I look at my properties that way. Instead of acquiring a lot more, I want the ones that I acquire to be more. I want a really low
Yes.
turnover rate. I want the
Mm.
better cash margin. So instead of doing a BRRRR method with $100 a door coming in, I buy with a down payment and have $400 to $600 a month coming in.
Mhm.
So I don't ever want to sell my properties, but I think how I can take how Mike is going using the affordability index is if the percentage is really high, I should be buying properties. And if it gets really low, I might focus on paying off mortgages instead of investing at that time.
Or
Instead
looking
of
for a different
selling.
asset class.
Well, yeah. So all of that is exactly right. If your real goal is to hold forever, that's exactly what you should be doing.
Mhm.
However, I do want it to be clear, when I bought those first 8 homes, my intention was to hold forever.
Mhm.
However, I quickly realized, you know what? If I step out of this asset, which is now overpriced, because what you'll see once you have your buy box and you know other areas, assets don't go up together. I have seen repeatedly where single houses get inflated, but small multis don't. So I would ask you to at least challenge yourself to look at, say, hey, are there 10 units or 8 units or, 2 fourplexes on a lot that might simply be better? My experience says when houses get really expensive, those apartments aren't, because what's happening is people are leaving apartments and they're going to houses. So it might be a good time to because I don't know, I took off 30% of bogus equity because the housing was so rampant higher in 06, and I just moved it and parked it in small multi. So with that one twist.
Well, if I watch asset classes, I think the goal should be to sell off all rental properties and buy a bunch of Bitcoin. But not today.
Not today.
I do. The reason I'm here talking to you guys is because I'm learning, just like everybody that I hope that is watching my channel is learning. And I'm absolutely open to figuring out which way I'm going to need to pivot in the future. The lazy person in me hopes that that never happens, but I'm not unintelligent. I know I would shift into multifamily if that really went the way that you saw it going. So my eyes are open too.
So Dion, I think that's really important because, so in my area, single families are a 1. What's interesting is that a single family rent is only a 10% premium over the same type of unit in a duplex.
Ooh.
So I can get the duplex per unit at a 40% discount to the single family. It's just math.
Yeah. So for my area, that's probably exactly why I shifted from single family to small multifamily in the first place. Single family didn't cash flow. And then when I bought them, small multifamily cost less than a single family, and the rents are the same in my area.
Yeah.
My duplexes are getting exactly what the house next to it is getting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Some is good, more is better.
Awesome. Okay. That is going to help me because a lot of people have reached out to understand exactly what the affordability index was and how it applies to real estate. So thank you both. Matt, if people wanted to reach out with questions, how can they get a hold of you?
Lumberjacklandlord.com and Lumberjack Landlord on YouTube, as well as any of the comments below. We answer those actually.
And Mike, if there's anybody left on the planet who doesn't know you, because we're doing our best to get your name out there because you've got great content. How can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, I appreciate that. I try every day. One rental at a time in your Google search bar should bring up all kinds of stuff.
Awesome. Thank you both. You guys are awesome. Until my next video, thanks for coming to my Dion Talk.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
Not today. Not
But
today.
I am definitely, but not today. Oh, can you do that again?
Not today.
Thank you.